Well, hey there everyone, and happy Monday. I'm Fox 10 News meteorologist Jennifer Lambers with an update on your forecast and for this edition of Next Weather. Now today, really what I wanted to dive deeper into is the conditions that we're seeing out there. We do have high pressure located above us, really located the center of that towards the Louisiana-Texas state line, and this is having an impact on our forecast. It's keeping us hot and it's keeping us steamy while also keeping some of the rain chances away from us. But so far for the month of July, I was just talking with Shelby about it. I mentioned how dry it's been so far for this month, and she was surprised by that. She's like, it feels like it's been raining every single day. And the reason for that, we've had rain chances every single day, pretty much the entire month. There were a few outlier days there that we didn't really have anything on the board for our extended outlook. But just because it feels like we have them doesn't mean it's always reaching it at your house, or in this case at Mobile Regional Airport. So let's go ahead and dive in deeper to what I'm tracking out there and just taking a look at those conditions just across the southeast. There's that area of high pressure that I mentioned. Now also I wanted to talk a little bit about the temperatures out there. Really, this has been my takeaway for July. Now that we're getting deeper into it, we continuously are starting to see more of those heat advisories that are being issued. And the 91s that you see out there where there's no really color in the background, that's going to be right around average. Typically, we should be seeing about 91. So we saw that July 7th, July 8th, 9th, and the 11th. However, the majority of July, we've been above average. Even if it was just starting to stray away from it just a little bit, we're getting towards the 92, 93, even 94, 95 range. But notice the blue out there. The 17th through the 19th and the 24th through the 25th. Both of those were tropical related. That was what brought down our temperatures for those days, and those days also brought in some of our highest rain chances here across the Gulf Coast. So that was really what we needed out there to help not only cool us down, but bring in some decent measurable rainfall. So if you remember the first portion in the Gulf where we had 40% chance of development, it was that wave that was moving across that trough of low pressure too. That was the 17th to the 19th, and then just this past week, we also had that once again last Thursday and Friday. That one had low chances to develop. That 10% as it tracked through the Gulf, and that was still tropical moisture. It increased the rough surf at our local beaches. It brought in some of those rough waves out there, increased cloud cover, and more of that unsettled pattern where we had very high rain chances, but it also cooled us down just a little bit. So here's what's more surprising about it is that we do see those warm above average temperatures. We talk about rain chances every single day here. However, we are in a deficit so far for the month. Normally we should be getting above 6 inches of rainfall in the month of July, but that's not quite the case. Instead, so far for July of 2025, we've gotten 3.69 inches. That is a deficit of a little over 3 inches. Now don't worry, for the whole year, we're still in a surplus. A lot of that coming into play for May and June, but so far for July, it's been dry. It really has been. We typically, I guess, rely on majority of that being tropical, and the two tropical somewhat events that we've had so far in the Gulf, bringing in some of those increased rain chances. And so I also wanted just to point out too, here I'll actually go back to that map that I was showing just to get a better idea of what it did look like. So I want to point out again, 17th through the 19th, 24th to the 25th, because what I was going to point out is this is what comes from the National Weather Service. It's a little hard to see right there, so I'll point it out just a little bit better. You can get this directly from their online website, but the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th, that was bringing in 0.3, 0.24, and 0.02 inches of rainfall. And then the 24th and then the 25th was what brought in the most measurable rainfall so far for the month at 1.34 inches. Now, a reminder of what I mentioned earlier, this is Mobile Regional. It's all going to be dependent upon where you're located, but this is going to be the stats for Mobile Regional and what we were getting from some of that. So that was where we saw the majority of the measurable rainfall so far, and that was what brought in about 3.69 inches of rainfall. Some of those also coming in at the beginning of the month. Now, where are we at so far for the year? January, deficit. February, deficit. We start to make it up in March and April. We start to see that swing taking us the other way. And then just wait for May and June. Look at that, really taking us off the board. And that's where we start to see from May, we almost doubled what we normally see. June, we brought in another 4 inches above what we typically see. So we're still in a surplus for the year, but the month of July definitely coming in a lot drier than what we typically see. So we'll continue just to see more of this drier conditions ahead of us. We are introducing some of those rain chances as we move forward, but it's still scattered. It's not widespread rain that's going to be seeing a lot of it to bring in more of that measurable rainfall. So we will continue to end the month of July in that deficit. But as far as what's ahead of us for the month of August, looking ahead for the CPC, the Climate Prediction Center, this is going to take us August 3rd to August 7th. And a reminder, this works in probabilities. The darker the color is just the higher chances to see some of this. So wetter than normal conditions. And it's coming into play for us August 3rd to August 7th. So that will be heading into the early part of next week. August 1st is this Friday. And then looking even further, this is August 5th to August 11th. And it really just has us right around average. That's what that gray coloration is going to be. It's not drier, it's just average, seeing what we should see for this time of year. So again, in case you're just now joining us, the main takeaway from all of this is that July has actually been drier than what we've been seeing, but we're still in a surplus for the year. We're in a deficit for the month alone, about a little over 3 inches there, but the month is bringing in a surplus. So we have seen quite a bit of rain out there. Just make sure that you're still taking care of your plants, your lawn on some of those drier days that we're going to be seeing. And although we have rain chances every single day, for the most part here across the Gulf Coast during the summertime, it doesn't always mean that you're going to be seeing it in your front yard. A lot of a lot of different factors that go into those rain chances. It could be dependent upon how long during the day, where we're located, or the entire Fox 10 viewing area as a whole. So just make sure that you stay updated with our team here at Fox 10. As always, you can download the Fox 10 weather app. That way your forecast is specifically detailed for your location, and also you have that built-in futurecast right there in the palm of your hand on that radar feature. We'll continue to keep you updated with your forecast here on Fox 10 with another episode of Next Weather coming into play for tomorrow. Fox 10 News at 4 o'clock is about to begin here shortly. We'll have another update for you coming into play on Tuesday.